All right, welcome to another episode of the Real Sean 256. This is eBay Crypto. Thanks for joining tonight. I just wanted to do a quick update on some Bitcoin charting, some crypto. Also, give you guys some updates on some recent plays that we've done. And I want to remind you guys if I have a private group that I'm using actually the WhatsApp to run my group. If you guys are interested in that, definitely let me know. You guys can reach out on Twitter at the Real Shaw 256. You guys can direct message me there, and I can let you guys into the group. The group is free of any cost or fees. It is just a group of investors. A lot of those investors are new to trading, new to investing, and so far we've got a pretty solid group of individuals there. There's also some people who've actually been in the game for a while and have, provided some insightful information as to some trades, some stocks, some things that we should be paying attention to. And so I want to share that with you guys. If you are interested, definitely reach out to me on Twitter. Let me know that you guys are following and that you want in on the investors group, and we'll definitely let you guys in. And yeah, so let's actually get into it real quick here. Let's talk about what the market is doing so far. Let's actually hit refresh here. And we're currently sitting at $273 billion market cap. We're also trading $73 billion in the last 24 hours, which is pretty steady. And we do see an uptake on a lot of our cryptos. Tether moving all the way up to third place now with a $9.1 billion market cap, taking over the third spot for XRP. A lot of XRP army members are not going to like that. They're probably going to cry wolf and say that that's, this is manipulation and all the other sort of good stuff. Bitcoin Cash, regretfully, in fifth place still, and Bitcoin SV is still relevant enough that we gotta mention this. And here's one that's kind of caught my eye lately is crypto.com. Crypto.com coin. Never heard of such a thing, but it's somehow made its way into the top 10. Not that I think it's going to be there for very long. EOS just barely hanging on to a top 10 spot. We have Cardano also out finally Cardano's actually been out of the top 10 for a while, but Tesla's Chainlink, it's hanging in there, stellar, 14th place. Definitely some movement there. Monero hanging steady in 15th. Look at Tron down to 17th place. Not that it really matters, but just want to do a quick recap. Yeah, the last 24 hours have been pretty. Um, I mean, it certainly was a lot more boring in the last week or so. You guys know what I mean. It's been pretty quiet in crypto, not a whole lot going on. But actually, let's talk about this piece of news here. Everybody on crypto Twitter and Facebook was talking about PayPal adding Bitcoin purchases. But I actually found a pretty good article on cryptobriefing.com. It's actually PayPal and Venmo, which a lot of people are attributing this latest move on Bitcoin's part to 9,700. The high today was 97.98. So a lot of people are attributing that move to the piece of news here, PayPal and Venmo getting involved in crypto. I mean, for the most part, that's pretty exciting, right? It's just another piece of adoption that that should you know that should send the price higher, right? It just means more adoption, easier ways to onboard, and I love the fact. I'll be number one. I'll be the first one to say that I just want this mainstream adopting thing to really take away from what Coinbase, the disaster that Coinbase is. You guys have heard me talk about this in the past, and guys, I am just so fed up with Coinbase. Not only are they just a crappy platform, they're very expensive. Some talks about manipulation. Just the information sharing has been going on for a very, very long time. This space is all about independence, financial independence, and what Coinbase has done one at a time after another is just a kick in the nuts, if you know what I mean. And I'm just so fed up with them. I'm just so happy to see this sort of activity from other players that are trying to get into the space and are offering another on ramp, another option out there, aside from Coinbase, who just it seems to be the behemoth of onboarding and on ramps for crypto. So finally, good to see this. I hope we continue to see more of this. I really do. I think it's only going to add to adoption and speed up the process, and this is what we've all been waiting for. So. Look, or funny enough, the halving had no effect on the price of Bitcoin, but this is sort of having a pretty good reaction so far. So we're definitely enjoying that. And I am interested in seeing Venmo. Obviously Venmo and PayPal are one of the most popular options when it comes to sending fiat overseas, or just from one place to another. So definitely happy to see that. Let's talk about the market. So we're seeing Bitcoin trading around $9,600 right now, 9618, lower end of 96. The Dow closed at 26,024, S&P 3117, and Nasdaq steady at 10,056. And let's actually look at the charts and see what we can tell about this. So last week. We just got a new weekly here. And by the way, we're just getting into actual TA side of things now. So on the weekly, had a pretty good bounce, a retest of the 55 and the 21 here on the S&P, and bounced quite nicely there. It just tells you that the market is not exactly ready to give all of this up. Since we hit the bottom here at, call it 2170, we'll call it that. And it's just not ready to give any of that back. I mean, it's staying pretty steady here. I mean, this is pretty positive news, right? It also is telling of the story that the market is feeling pretty optimistic about COVID-19 and things reopening. New York actually reopened this week, brought back about 300,000 employees back into the workforce, or something close to that. So definitely the market is feeling optimistic about things going forward, not really, letting go of, these top ranges here. Another thing to notice since the last video is the Nasdaq actually printed a new all-time high just today again at 10,059.61. So that is another indicator that although the economy is not nowhere near prior to COVID-19 and this pandemic, but things are signaling, and the market is definitely telling us the story of the optimism that is being surrounded, or that we are being surrounded with in the markets. Right, the Nasdaq is printing a new all-time high. The S&P is pretty close. I think it's within 15% of the all-time high there. We can actually take our dandy little measurement tool from where we are currently. It's actually only about 8% and 8.8% from the all-time high. So again, it's just telling of a pretty good story. The Russell small cap 2000 also, it is. I mean, it was able to get above the 255 here, but it found plenty of resistance here at the 200 symbol and came back down. Now it's actually struggling to get above the 200 again. This is on the weekly, so it really does matter. If we look at the RSI here, things are looking pretty toppish and not so bold for the Russell. If we look at the Nasdaq, also got a bearish cross. If we look at the SPY, also got a bearish cross. I was actually seeing this on Friday before the close of the market, and I entered some puts. So I might have gotten in a little too quick, a little too soon. Especially if you look at Zoom actually bounced off. I mean, it was showing a reversal, a possible reversal on the daily stochastic RSI here, and then it turned around throughout the day today. Pretty much from the get go, it actually got off to a good start, and so did Microsoft. I also have a put on Microsoft. If we actually minimize this, we can see the price action. I mean, it's really going the other way right now. I'm not quite ready to close my puts on these two plays here, but I will close them tomorrow if this continues. I will be out of them. They do expire this Friday on the 26th, so I really have to do something about these or these puts pretty quickly here. I don't want to I don't want to let the time run out on that. I do also want to give you guys our top call for last week was work. Where is our, here we go, work. So Slack Technologies, it was one that after earnings call had a major dip. Measure that, a pretty nice dip from closing of this candle to the bottom here. It was about 21% drop, creating a huge gap here. So once we bounced off the 55, I did enter into a call here, and we rode it all the way up here to the tune of about 130%, right? So it was a great trade. I did alert my my fellow investors in the private group. So again, if you guys want to take advantage of these calls, these are, guys, this is free stuff. Like I've gotten some of you that have actually asked me to add you to the group, and so hopefully you guys are paying attention to some of these calls. Again, bought a call here off the 55 for about 138% profit. And so things were looking pretty good. I did actually sell that call. I do think there's potential to move up. So pay attention to this, guy. So there is still plenty of room to go here. If we look at where we currently are sitting, in order to close the gap, that's another 10%. If we enter a call here, I mean that's still going to be a pretty sizable position to the upside. So pay attention to work. I still am, like I said, I sold my call for about I want to say it was about 125, 130% profit. Sold it, closed it out, came back down, retested the 21, but I did not re-enter. So I could have made some nice profit on the way back up here, but I didn't. It was, I don't want to get too greedy. I already got 125, 130% profit on that call. So again, I don't want to risk it too much. But again, I do think that as long as these the S&P, the Nasdaq don't dump here in the next couple of days, which I am expecting them to do, I am expecting some sort of retracement, some sort of retest down below. If we look at the daily again, I actually do want to see a retest of the 55 here again. It still would be a test of the 55 would still be a pretty healthy retest, still creating a higher low, so that we're not by any means getting bearish. I just want to see that, especially because again I'm seeing that some of these plays are pretty topish, and things are looking like they do want to come back down and have a retest that just a healthy retest and bounce off of some lower levels before heading up. And again, it's not like conditions economy wise, it's not like conditions are optimal for the S&P to actually reach another all-time high like the Nasdaq. I mean, that I think caught everybody by surprise, but here we are. These are the markets, and these are the type of things that you can expect the unexpected, especially while in a pandemic, right? So that is definitely something that I think no one really expected. That's really a V-shaped recovery, what everybody's talking about. Some people are skeptical of that, but here we have the Nasdaq actually saying, hey, this is a legit V-shaped recovery here in the markets. Hopefully you guys were playing in that. We actually got in about 10% from the bottom. 10 or 15% from the bottom, and we've been riding the way up, all the way up. I'm still holding some oil stocks. I've pretty much gotten rid of all my airline. I have one smaller position that I've been scaling out of with the Jets ETF, which is pretty much a basket of these individual airline stocks. That is one to that you may or may not want to hold this one. Like I said, I scaled down and I scaled out. I took some profits over here when we got to the about $22-23 in this. I've been running it since about $12 down below here. And again, this is one that was also given in the private investors group. We've been writing it since about, some people started around $10, some people started around 12, like myself, and we've been writing all the way up to a test of a 200 here, and then we started to scale out of it. Again, I'm still holding a small position for the long term. Came back into it. I might be adding here at a solid area here with the 55 and the 21 coming in as support. It's probably a good idea to start adding at these levels. I don't know if I'm going to do it myself yet. I might, if I do, I have a small position. I might enter a small, might buy some calls. Not a huge amount of calls, but maybe a few calls in here would not be such a bad idea. I do again am waiting to see what's going to happen with the major indices before I actually do something like that. I did sell a lot of my positions. I took a lot of profits, like I said, on Slack, on work recently, because I do think that some of these things, a lot of these plays are looking pretty topish. I don't know that we're going to fill this gap here in Slack just yet. I'm not convinced. The daily RSI is kind of pointing towards that, but it's kind of taking its sweet time. We'll see tomorrow what tomorrow brings, and see if it's a good idea. If we do, again, I exited right on this daily candle, and then we saw a major buying candle above the exponential there. Although it did not take us above this prior candle, so we knew that it was not going to fill this gap just yet. Came back down, retested 21. It's back up, retesting the top of this prior daily candle. And it's potentially building a breakout, right? If we look at the 4-hour, it is definitely retesting this range here and the top of the Bollinger Band here. If we start to get above that Bollinger Band and we start seeing some green candles above the exponential there, I am gonna seriously maybe either buy some more stock on this. I also have a small, very tiny position on Slack. Just stock, not any calls or options or anything like that, but I do have a small position on it still, just in case some of this sort of thing happened. And I might be adding to that, right? I might even just depending on how we see things happening. Again, if we see plenty of buying pressure, some options buying activity, where a lot of buyers are coming in and picking up those calls, then I might consider coming back in with a few calls in here and writing all the way up to about this level here. In fact, let's actually put a target. Let's actually put a line of resistance there. This is where things might end up, right at 37.75. That's where I would be looking for, to start scaling down. However you want to do it. If you want to buy some stock, or if you just want to buy maybe a call or two or a few calls, this is where I'd start to scale out, right? Take profits. Always want to do that. All right, so let's see what else is good to talk about. Nike has actually been on a pretty nice run. If you look at the daily, actually, it's a better picture here. A retest of the 55, back up here to the higher side of the Bollinger Bands. Did not like it up there, came back down, but is also bouncing again. I mean, is this an official retest of the 55? Not quite, but it's still looking pretty strong here. So. And then the other call that I wanted to make, and this is something that I've already told my group last week, Nikola is looking like the next Tesla. Yeah, that's right. folks. You heard it here first. Nikola is going to give Tesla a run for its money. I am starting to load up since last week, a little bit late in the game, but it's for what I think this stock can actually do long term. This is this is cheap, guys. This is getting in. I mean, just startup territory. This is one that merged with VTIQ, which was another call that I made to the investors group. The VTIQ stock merged with Nikola, and now these guys are working on lithium battery powered vehicles as well as hydrogen powered vehicles. And these guys, again, are going to give Tesla and Mr. Elon Musk a run for their money. These guys are building semi trucks that are fully battery powered. They're also going to compete with the F-150. Not only that, not only are they going to compete, I think they're going to blow it out of the water for a couple reasons. One is these guys are going to be able to offer about 1,000 horsepower on a full-size F-150 size type of truck. Not only that, but they're going to have enough power to not just power the truck itself, be able to haul over 15,000 pounds. But they're also going to be able to, if you buy one of these trucks, it's going to have enough power to power your tool. So if you're a contractor, if you're in construction or whatever type of work that requires power tools, you're going to be able to hook up to your truck and not have to rely on on buying like a separate compressor or anything like that. You can power your whole shop from one of these trucks. So I mean, I mean, this is the kind of information that I want to bring to you guys, and so I want you to hit the subscribe button right now, and also hit the like button if you are liking this, and also share if it's not too much to ask. But this is the kind of information I want to bring to you guys. I may not be doing this type of content as frequently as I once was, or as much as I used to be able to do, but I definitely want to bring you. It also helps because I can gather some of this information, and bring it to you guys and just add value to your portfolio or to your trading. So this is what the channel is about. This is about exchanging information and bringing you guys really insightful stock info or crypto info, so that you guys can grow your portfolio and actually make some money in this game. So hopefully, again, you guys are getting something in exchange for your time here tonight. That is what we aim to do here in this channel. So if you're looking for some stocks to buy, definitely get into anything that's tech right now. Apple is still soaring. Things like Cloudera, anything that's cloud-based is still soaring. Anything that's Wells Fargo is actually undervalued, in my opinion. I think these guys have a lot of room to the upside. I did enter a small trade with them and have taken my profits and have exited this position, but I am going to keep a close eye on Wells Fargo because I do think it's very, very, very undervalued. I think Chase already made up some ground from where it went down, but I do think Wells Fargo has a lot of upside remaining. I'm not a fan of their operations and their history at all, but this is about making money, and I do think it's severely undervalued, and I do think it has plenty of upside to go. So keep an eye on that. This is LK Coffee, was one of the tips that we got from one of the members of the group. We made significant over 50% gains on this trade here a couple of weeks ago, and we're still keeping an eye on it. It's in a consolidation phase right now, but I am and I will be looking to entering into LK Coffee in the near future once we see another bounce coming. So stay tuned for that. Again, if you guys want to join the group, definitely let me know. The XLE is actually a pretty good one too. Not one that I'm playing currently. Also, for those of you who are interested in the pharmaceuticals, the XBI is something to behold. XBI, where are you? Where are you? Jesus. Bear with me, fellas, ladies, gentlemen. children. Jesus, where did you go? XBI, here we go. Look at this thing. This all-time high again within a pandemic. Obviously, I mean this is a basket of biotech and pharmaceuticals, right? So you're going to find that this is kind of like the Jets, right? We were talking about the Jets ETF. This is another ETF that is concentrated on biotech. These guys have been doing really well with any time you mention COVID-19 and the possible cure, whether it's through a drug therapy or a vaccine. This thing just reacts like a bat out of hell, and we do see it here with the last few days of trading action. This thing is just keeps on setting new record highs. So definitely keep an eye on XBI. I'm not in a position. I'm actually holding some individual stocks like Moderna. Moderna, INO. I'm also in Pfizer, and I am also in SRNE. These guys are working on some therapeutics, some important therapeutics. These guys are about to. I'm set up here. I've already entered into this trade, and I'm definitely set up for this. Hopefully, a breakout. We do see a descending line of resistance here very clearly. And so I am hoping that this thing is going to take off pretty soon. Again, I am holding a pretty hefty bag of Sorrento Therapeutics, and I am hoping that this thing again is about ready to make one of these moves again. Would be coming, I hope, in the near future. All right. So NVAX also been killing it. Set up a new all-time high, although this is kind of looking like reversal already. So I wouldn't enter any trades right here. If anything, I would possibly, and this is I really mean this, I might enter a put here and see if we can ride it on the way down, because it is starting to look very toppish. If we look at the RSI, bring it up here, looking to round things up off at the top. This long wick to the downside, kind of looking like a hammer candle here, again indicative of a reversal, and you can rely on a lot of these signals again, because this is additional stocks. It's not like crypto. And again, INO is one that I've been holding for a while, in and out. It's actually done pretty well so far. It is testing the top side of this Bollinger Band. I'm thinking it might actually come back and retest this top line of resistance here. Right around, we'll call it 1751. It's done it in the past. I do think it's got it in it to actually retest that one. So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, the volume signature down here, volume indicator is setting the bar pretty low. So if we do get any sort of buying power in here, it's gonna take off like a bat out of hell. So keep an eye on INO as well. All right, so enough of stocks. Let's actually get into Bitcoin, because I do think there is something that is worth mentioning. If we look at current price action, let's look at this huge line of resistance that's coming in from way back in the day last year, about a year ago, when we hit 14,000 back here in June of 2019. This descending line of resistance, and we've actually been able to poke above it 3 times now, 1, 2, 3. So none of these was significant enough to actually hold up above. And right now, for the 3rd time, we've just gone above it, and we're using it as support currently. And this is a brand new daily candle that just opened up a few hours ago, about 3 hours ago or so. So we're not ready to really jump up and down in excitement, because it just started. Let's just see where things are going. Let's see what the RSI is saying. RSI is still telling us that there's plenty of room to go. Here's another thing to watch out for. I mean, there's a pretty easy to see line of resistance here. If we can get above this, then I do think we can definitely start running up to higher, to retest this local high here at around, we'll call it 10,200. That is the local high there. And ultimately, I've been saying this on Twitter. There's, as bearish as I was a couple of weeks ago, I do think we might actually be making a run for 10.6. That's right, you guys heard it here first. This is a box that's been helpful on the way up or down, as resistance, as support. So right now we're Bitcoin, as you can see, is trying to turn this into support. We can clearly see that. It is trying to make this into support. We'll see if it actually does, but this will act as a support zone here. Hopefully, hopefully that will be the case and we can run up. And so that'll mean two things. Not only are we going to go up to 10.6, but then we can also bank on the fact that the markets have been tracking what Bitcoin's been doing. I know it sounds crazy, and I know some of you are going to disagree with me, but it is true. If you guys have been following the markets, both stocks and crypto, you'll know. For if you've been following, if you've been paying attention, these things have been trading very, very near each other. So I am going to use this to my advantage, and until until it's proven to be unsuccessful. So right now, if I see Bitcoin dipping down, I am probably going to see some more downside pressure on stocks and traditional markets. If the opposite is true, then again, we're probably going to see continuation to the upside, and I'm probably going to exit those puts that I have on both Zoom and Microsoft. So we'll see where we'll see where it goes. I'll keep you guys updated. I'll let you guys know if I decided to exit those puts. So, and I will be telling you guys on Twitter. So if you guys want to go there and follow me, it's the real Sean 256 on Twitter. But I do think, again, this is an area to pay attention. It is acting as support currently. We're right above this crucial line of support. Let's see if we can hold it for a third time now. All right. This so far, this tiny little red candle that barely registers down here, it's not enough to really tell what might happen. If we look at the 4 hour, see what's going on down there. Still, volume is very, very low. I mean, it's just this volume indicator is just depleting to very, very low levels. If we look at the RSI, this was from the daily. We go back to the daily, and what it's looking like. So if we do see some trading, if we do see the RSI go above this line of resistance, you know what might happen. And then now on the 4 hour, it's actually coming down. It's actually coming down. So there's no confluence there. We're gonna have to wait for confirmation. Let's actually look at the 1 hour real quick. This one's saying, yeah, we've lost momentum. 2 hour heading the same way. 3 hour, same thing. 4 hour again, same thing. All right, so there's definitely confluence to the downside on the 4 hour. Let's see if there's enough momentum to break below this. If we do, then we're very likely gonna have a retest of this bottom, the bottom side of the Bollinger Bands, which is also coinciding with the bottom of this raising support line of support here, coming in around, we'll just call it 91.5. All right, so if we fail, break through below this box here, 91.5 is where we'll be looking to pick things up. All right, so I think that is all I have for you guys tonight. Again, hopefully you guys are taking advantage of all of this information. If you guys like what you're seeing, what you're hearing, definitely leave it down in the comments. Remember to hit subscribe. Hopefully you're getting something in exchange for your time here tonight. I appreciate you guys. Let's see, do I have anything else? No, I think that's it. I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks so much.